Welcome to another episode of this course. So now maybe you notice that our girl is not in perfect condition. Maybe the chin is a bit too wide and the mouth probably a bit too big. There are some things that we might want to fix. But first, let me show you how to customize your ZBrush interface. ZBrush interface is very customizable. It's pretty easy to customize. It's very easy. So we go to Preferences and we go to Config. In Preferences Config, we can enable Customize and Store Config, which are the two main things with which you customize. Enable Customize allows you to move every button, every interface on the UI, and Store Config is saving the changes that you have made. So when you enable Customize, then you can move, and then when you are happy with your result, you will hit Store Config. And if you want to take your customized interface and bring it to some other computer where you work or something and have the same interface, it's very easy. Save UI saves one file, very small file, and Load UI will load the same file in a different ZBrush if you want. So it's very important to customize your interface, and it's very easy to work with this customized interface later in another computer, in another workstation, wherever you are. You just keep your file in a cloud storage or in your flash, for example, in your pocket, in the flash memory. So by enabling customize, you see ZBrush is kind of smashing the view. But what we will do here in this video, we will take all the brushes that we need, which are like 7 or 8 brushes, and we will put them here in the bottom, below me, here. And also, first we will take the Enable Customize and Store Config buttons and put them here in the top. Because this will allow us very easy, because it's easy now, but it will be much easier to customize our interface, to add more buttons or something into an interface, to kind of dig them from their respective positions now, because some of the very used functions in ZBrush are very well dug into the ZBrush menus, and every time we should go to 1, 2, 3 menus to find this kind of function that it's just a waste of time. So enable customize. How we move this and put it here? We go to Preferences. We Control Alt click and drag it. So Control Alt and then drag it and then drop it. We are holding Control Alt while we're dragging it. And then Store Config the same. We just Control Alt and just drag it here. So now we have those two buttons, Enable Customize and Store Config. Very easy, very nice. So we can now disable Customize, we can work even with Enable Customize on, it's not a problem. But Store Config, it's very important. We will store config. So next time when we start ZBrush, all the things that we have made, all the changes will be saved. And now also Store Config is allowing you to dock some other menus. For example, we want tool, we want other menus, we can dock them, or here in this area, we double click on this thing here and in the corner, and then we have on the left this brush menu. I don't know if it's by default it's there, but if it isn't, we can just kind of go to brush, and just drag it by this circular little button on the top left, and now it's on the top right, but when you open it, it's on the top left. We drag it and drop it and dock it here, and then Store Config. And next time when you start ZBrush, it will be here. And this, by the way, it's pretty important to have here, because from here we'll take our brushes and put them down here. The other thing we might want to do is, for example, let me show you. Now, first brush that we will put is a standard brush. Let's Control Shift drag it from here and drop it here. You see, it's very wide. It doesn't need to be. It has to be smaller. So we go to Preferences and go to Custom UI, not to Custom UI, to Interface, and then in Interface UI, white button. So in Interface, we go to UI, you see how much menus inside, and just disable white buttons. And now you see how the buttons are now square, and they will take much less space here, and also in here in the brush menu. In the brush menu, these are the brushes that we have used in this session, which are almost none. We haven't used brushes in this session because I restarted ZBrush since the last video. So now, in order to take brushes from here, because only from here we can take them and put them down here. In order to take them from here, we have to first select the brush. For example, the second brush we want to put here, next to the standard brush, is the clay tubes brush. And clay tubes brush is not here. So what we do is press B, press C, and now find clay tubes brush and just click it. And now clay tubes is selected and also appears in here. And now we Control Alt, we can drag it and drop it next to the standard brush as a second brush. Okay, good. So Control Alt, dragging, we can Control Alt drag everything. For example, BPR, this I Control Alt drag and drop it there and it disappeared. I will go to render and try to find it. I think it should be here somewhere. I'm not sure. Yeah, it disappeared. It's no more. I needed this button, by the way. Ah, it's here, yeah, in the BPR render pass. Yeah. So if you remove something from here by accident, for example, perspective, you Control Alt drag it and drop it into our viewport and it disappeared. What we can do? Yeah, we can go to transform and go to perspective here, or it's not here. Probably it's in draw. Yeah, sometimes it's in draw, and just Control Alt drag it and drop it back here. Yeah, nothing is irreversible. Everything is reversible, but don't do that. I mean, don't delete those items here. It's good to have them. For example, some of you maybe try to take this brush and put it here, which would be a mistake because, for example, it disappears from here, but we can always go and put it back here, and this one to erase it. Control Alt dragging always. So the next brush that we want is the, what was the next brush? The 3. The brush number 3 is the pinch brush. Okay, yeah, I just pressed 3 because my shortcuts are already here. So pinch brush, so B, P, and since I forget the names of brushes, and but I know them by what they do. So yeah, so pinch brush, we select it, now it's here, and now it's also here, and we Control Alt drag it here. So make sure enable customize is on. Store config, from time to time you can press it. So yeah, and then the third, the fourth brush will be the move brush, very important. So B, M, V, move brush here, and it appears here, and we put it here. The fifth brush is high polish brush, so B, H, high polish is BHP, Alt, Control Alt, and you see the shortcuts in this black kind of thing here. And the sixth brush is the inflate brush, so B, I, inflate N, B-I-N, and take it and put it here. And the seventh brush, it will be the down standard brush, so B, D, S, now standard, selected, and now take it from the brush menu here. So the brushes we take from this menu, the brush menu. We take it from here, from the recent brushes of the brush menu. So now we have those brushes, and I need 2 more brushes to put here, and we will be kind of ready. Let me show you which ones are they, but we will give shortcuts only to these brushes because that's what I do. So B, M, and move topological. Move topological brush is pretty useful in some occasions. So we just click it, it's selected, now Control Alt drag, move topology, and then the other brush we want is the Z remesher brush, very important brush, or Z modeler, yes. So B, Z, oops, B, Z, Z modeler, here it is, click it, and you will see this brush is extremely useful. You can do all kind of hard surface things in ZBrush with this brush. It's amazing. So be careful, by the way. Common mistakes when you put the brushes here and then giving them shortcuts is to kind of Control Alt and press Shift at the same time, and sometimes you replace the smooth brush. When you press Shift, whatever brush you are on, when you press Shift, it has to be the smooth brush here, and it says smooth. If another brush is here, you just click while pressing Shift and then select the smooth brush from here. If, for example, you select the standard brush as a smooth brush, then your standard brush wouldn't work. You press on the standard brush and it just won't work. So be careful. Sometimes this happens while you are making your interface. So now press Shift, go here, while pressing Shift, smooth. And now we are okay. The smooth brush is with Shift, always. So now we have to give those brushes here shortcuts. So I will close this because I don't need it anymore. Then store config, and be very careful now. It's very important. Extremely. Just all your ears like this, yeah, radars. Okay, now to give shortcuts to the brushes, it's Control-Alt, click on the brush or any element in ZBrush. You can give a shortcut to any element. For example, save as. Here I give it Control-S because by default Control-S is file save as. This is by default Control-S. But since I save mostly tool, I give tool save as the Control-S shortcut. And how you give it? Control-Alt click on an element to give it a shortcut. But the important part is enable customize should be disabled. And many people, when I tell them this, they don't kind of listen a little bit, and they try to do the shortcutting with enable customize enabled, and it's counterintuitive, I know, but it's not working. So you will see here, you see here in this part, you see some text. Whatever you go to each button you go, you see some text. So look here when I press Control-Alt on the standard brush, Control-Alt, and my mouse pointer is standing on the standard brush. It doesn't move from there. And up there says press any combination to assign custom hotkey or press escape or something. Or just move your mouse button. Yeah. So Control-Alt click while enable customize is disabled, the button up. And now we press 1. And when you press 1, ZBrush by default will ask you, but this hotkey also already is assigned. There will be a message here. Assigned to some, you say, yes, I want to assign it. Yes. So this will be Control-Alt, the second one. Control-Alt click and then 2. Control-Alt click and then 3. Control-Alt click and then 4. You see, it's very easy to give those brushes short keys, hotkeys. Control-Alt click and then 5. Control-Alt click on inflate and then 6. Control-Alt click on damp standard brush and then 7. And that's it. I mean, I don't give the others shortcuts. I just click them from here. It's kind of nice. So then you store config, but be careful because storing config doesn't store your hotkeys. I know it's strange. ZBrush is strange. So you go to preferences to store your hotkeys. You go to hotkeys, and then you either can save them as a file, which will be a good idea to have your hotkeys as a file. Also your UI as a file. So 2 files you need to bring with you. You just store from here. And now the hotkeys are stored, which is good. Every time you start ZBrush, restart from now on, the hotkeys will be this that we have given. The thing is that if you don't do this, if you don't go to preferences, store, if you don't store them, next time we start ZBrush, probably they will be reset. Unless when you close ZBrush, it will ask you first, do you want to save the current project? If you say no, it's okay. But then, if you have changed some hotkeys, it will ask you if you want to save or store those hotkeys. And then you have to say just yes. So, now that we have those brushes, we can work a little bit faster on our model. So I will select the move brush with 4 and just try to make this a bit more attractive, this girl. I will probably move a bit the nose forward, the cheekbone forward. Maybe the nose is a bit too big, but you know, I like girls with big noses. It's just my preferences. So the chin maybe a bit backward. Maybe the chin will be thinner. This part on the side. Yes. So bigger brush. And dynamic, as I told you, I kind of like to turn that off on all brushes and click remember dynamic mode per brush, this button. This button is kind of useless in my opinion because it doesn't exactly do what it says to do. It doesn't remember the dynamic mode per brush, but we click it anyway. So, alright, now let's see. Yeah, in the beginning when I opened it like a few minutes ago, because I closed it before, when I opened it, it was, it seems to me something is very wrong with this face. Now it looks okay, which is a problem because it obviously is not okay. Because when you kind of get away from your work for a certain amount of time, for example, for 1 hour, for 2 hours, and then you get back, the first look is the most important, because then you will look and see your mistakes, or you see something is wrong and you have to fix it. Maybe not exactly your mistakes, because to see exactly the mistakes needs a lot of practice and a lot of knowledge of anatomy, and a lot of practice is also very important, because practice makes perfect, you know. So let's see, something is wrong. I mean, the lips, the upper lip here should be like this a little bit. Yes. And here we can select our standard brush with 1, make it smaller, make it RGB and Z-add no. So by the way, what I like to do also is to make another brush, which is the standard brush, only with RGB, because every time when I want to use the standard brush and I was using it for polypaint, for example, I have to go here, press Z-add, unpress RGB, use it, and then again when I want to polypaint I have to go to RGB and Z-add off, which is annoying. So what I do is I save the standard brush as with RGB on and Z-add off. I save it as another brush. How to do that? And I call this brush alpha, or polypaint or whatever. So how to do that? We go to B and click clone here in the bottom part. If you see it, yeah, click clone here just below me. It's just here, clone. Click clone. When you click clone, this standard brush now with RGB on will be kind of cloned, and it will be in the memory, for example. Yeah. And then when we press B again and click save as, don't just click save as, clone and then save as. Save as, and we can save it in ZBrush, ZStartup, brush presets, and alpha, and save. And I have it already, but you know. Yeah, you go to your ZBrush folder in C, most of the time it's in C, program files, Pixologic, ZBrush, the version you have, ZStartup, then brush presets, and it's important to go to ZStartup, not brush presets in the main folder, but first ZStartup, because they are the brushes which you have in the startup when you start ZBrush. So ZStartup is important, and then brush presets. Now here we will make some mustaches of our girl, very important, very nice, and she will look, no, I'm joking, it's not, we will not do that. What we'll do is, what I want to do is here to just, you know, I'm on this brush. Now this is the standard brush. I will go back to RGB Z-add, and let's go to our alpha brush. So B, alpha, it's here. Probably in your case it wouldn't be here, or it will be, I don't know, but when we restart the brush it will be here. It will be B, A, and it will be here, alpha brush. So alpha brush, and then press C to select the color. You see, when I hover over something, I told you already, and press C, it just selects the color that I'm hovering over. So I select this color and just kind of make it like this, because otherwise she looks like something that put some makeup, and it's not good. So now alpha brush, by the way, I would like to kind of take it and put it here. So enable customize, go to the brush here, so double click on this to open it, and then since we already chosen alpha brush, it's here, we Control Alt drag it here, and we are kind of good. Now disable customize, store config. By the way, the other thing I like to do is to make all of my icons a bit smaller, because you know, in the lower resolutions they will be very much cut out from here. For example, this frame will be the last button that you see, and all the other buttons in the bottom you will not be able to see. So what I like to do is go to preferences, go to interface, and button size by default is like 46 or something. I just drag it down to 38, which is the lowest. And next time when we restart ZBrush, everything will be a bit smaller. So store config, okay. And now let's work a little bit more on our girl. I will press 4 for my move brush. I will move this backward, go to the standard brush with 1, make it smaller, and just dig in here with Alt and smooth. Every time smooth. Don't make this with, for example, with the down standard brush. Don't make this. She will look old. It's not good. Or if you make it, it's not a problem. You can make it, but then you have to smooth it a lot. It has to have this kind of a form in there, but you don't make it super obvious. Especially in the female face, everything should be kind of smooth. In the male face, you can kind of do it not so smooth. So the distance between the eyes is 1 eye, so I will move it inward and also move the eyes themselves by alt clicking on them and then pressing W. So what I did is I'll go on the front view with shift, I will snap it and then alt click on the eyes, make sure my eyes are selected, okay? Then I press W to get my pivot on and alt move my pivot until it's kind of here, or I can do it from here also, and just move my eyes closer together. And now I should adjust my eyelids, of course. So I alt click on the face a few times if I have to, because sometimes from the first alt click it doesn't change the subtool. And now we are on the face and we can move the eyelids from the lower view, from the top view. You see, I'm just rotating my view and try to make them the same thickness here and the same thickness all around. So no things like this or like this. And now she looks a bit better, I think. Okay, let's we have time. Let's make kind of a something like here. Why not? So I will teach you one more thing, very nice in ZBrush, how we can make everything in ZBrush. So what have I done now? I don't know, but sometimes this happens. ZBrush is just making fun of me. Yes. You see, now nothing is happening. Control N, we'll have to fix it. F, and we are here. So sometimes you will press Shift S, and you see what happens. For example, press Shift S and then try to move, and what's happening? Oh, no. Shift S is making a screenshot of the thing you are looking right now. So when I move this here and press Shift S, it will stay there, and then I have to, and what we can do here is Control N. Control N, you see, Control N. Control N will renew our screen. So it's nice to have. Yeah, there are things that probably you will encounter, and most of them I already encountered, so you can ask me what to do, or just search in Google. Sometimes Google knows, sometimes it's difficult to search, it's difficult to find. I mean, it's easy to search, but it's difficult to find something. So you can ask me anything if anything happens. Give me screenshots or just detailed explanation of what happened, and I'll be able to probably give you the answer to fix the things. So don't worry, I'm aware that when you're a beginner, it's not very easy. So what I'm doing now is just fixing a little bit the ear, because for me ear is pretty important. By the way, it's a bit wavy here, so I go with my move brush and just with little move brush, just moving it from this point here. We just try to not have very wavy surfaces. Also this thing here, move brush is very important, one of the most used brushes from me. I use it all the time. Move brush is the best. So now this girl is looking kind of nice. How to make the hair, and also in the same way we are making clothes and other stuff, but this later. For now, let's make the hair. So first we go with Control above, so we look at it above and make a mask here. By the way, store config if you haven't, very important. Now we make a mask. The mask is the hairline where the hair is growing. So yeah, it's kind of like this. If we want to, if we do this for example and want to erase this, Control Alt, drag, and we erase it. And then Control, dragging to have it. Try to not go over the ear. Try to kind of go away from the ear, not very close to it, because yeah, it will crumble your thing afterwards. We will see. And then in the back here, Control dragging, we can also do this for faster work. And we are kind of done. And now what we can do is go to our subtool menu in the tool menu and go to extract, which is the most bottom thing, extract, and then press extract, and then this will happen. This is kind of a new mesh that we will have, but when you move it will disappear. So extract, move, and it will disappear. What to do? So extract, and then you have to accept it in order for it to be able to work on it. So when you accept it, it will make another subtool here, which will be only the hair. You see, when I press solo, you see it. By the way, if you don't have a solo, I told you, you go to transform, find the solo here, and you can enable customize, go to transform, take the solo with Control Alt, and just drag it here or here in your interface, and you will have it, because solo is pretty important. And also polyframe, draw polyframe is important to see your polygons when, especially when we're doing a low poly things. And we will do some low poly things in ZBrush. It's very nice. So transform, polyframe, you take it from here and put it here. You know, I don't need them, but if you don't see them, it's okay. Most laptops are kind of don't see those buttons, so I will just drag them from here because I need them, and disable customize and continue working. So now we have another subtool for the head. We just extracted the mask for the hair, and we have this. So now we can do some inflation, we can do some other stuff, but now we have a mask. By the way, we have to disable the mask like this, just dragging with Control a mask outside the object. Just drag like this. And then, by the way, Control drag, and then, oh, what? I didn't know that. Yeah, we can learn always. So Control dragging is a mask, but if you press Control again, it becomes this with Control Shift. Yes, with Control Shift we are just hiding or showing geometry. We can Control Shift drag to kind of show and hide, and then we Control Shift click to show everything. But we will do that, and that's why I'm not stopping too much on this. We'll do it later. So now what I need to do, I will inflate with my inflate brush, which is 6 in our keyboard, or you go to B, I, inflate, and I will inflate to have more meat. I like to have more meat. And then I will make a hair which is kinda long. I will go to the move brush and just elongate the head here, the hair here. And I told you, we just need something to work from, and ZBrush can do everything. So now I'm smoothing, see, pretty nice. And I can do this, you see, pretty cool. And now, for example, I need to dynamesh this here, because otherwise, when I go to 7, which is down standard brush, and I start to make these things, yeah, now it's fine. So with down standard brush, I'm just alt dragging, because my down standard brush is with Z add on. If yours is by default Z sub, put it on Z add, it will be better. And just alt dragging to make those, or just dragging and then alt dragging, and you make this kind of things. Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice, but you will be able to do it. If you don't have kind of a fast hand like me, you can do it with lazy mouse. Lazy mouse, let me just try to achieve something here with the move brush. I will move this. Those are pretty not cool. I mean, they don't look like hair, they look like something else. But yeah, with the high polish brush we can flatten them a bit. I don't know. But the hair itself could be a different color. I mean, not exactly this one. So let's change it to, for example, yeah, brown. Let's go to color, fill object. And by the way, this fill object, enable customize, color, Control Alt, drag it in here to have it fill object. It's okay. And now, yes. So we can drag from here. We can make the hair like this. Yeah, I will not teach you exactly how to make hair because yeah, I don't know what exactly haircut we should make or whatever. But the thing is, you can make it however you want. And we can cover the ears even if we want. We can make it go in the front like this, and then we can dynamesh it and do whatever we want. We can disable symmetry and then just fix it a bit. And since it's on like another subtool, we can do whatever we want and we will be able to work without touching the head itself, of course. And this, for example, it can go like this. See, without symmetry it's a bit more interesting. And here, what we can do with this, Dynamesh. We have to go to Geometry, go to Dynamesh, and select Dynamesh. And the resolution is pretty big, so I will dial it down, resolution, and drag it. And now it's better. And now when I smooth with this low resolution, it can sharpen the ends. And we can do something like this, S-curves a bit. Yeah, now it looks kind of better. And just a quick look at one brush that we will use is B, Curve Tool brush. And the Curve Tool brush is a very interesting brush. It looks like a person's face with very big eyebrows, like mine, big eyebrows, and mustaches. So I click it, Curve Tool brush, and then we can do this. Do a little bit of thinking here. And I will show you this brush when we do the hands of our character and the feet, but for now, and the fingers also, you do this curve and then you can kind of control it here. But we don't need to control it that much, we just need something. And then, very important, while you are on this curve brush, you just click on the object to accept it, and now the curve is gone. I've seen a lot of people that have their curve long after their model is kind of like this and stuff, but the curve is still there because they didn't accept the curve. We're just clicking on the object, not outside the object, in the object, without any pressing of any button. Just click on the object and you'll have it. So down standard brush with 7, I will do this. And you see, I'm a bit fast, yes. If you cannot follow me exactly, you have to rewind and watch it again. It's not a problem because this is a video, it's obviously you are capable, but my idea is to give you kind of the most information in a short amount of time. And this is it. So I removed the mask from the head and now we have this. Not the best, but it's kind of working for us. So this will be for this video. In the next, we will start, at last, we will start our character. And it's very nice. You probably already know what the character is, or if you don't, you will be able to see it. It's amazing. It's kind of simple. It doesn't have too much detail or something, but it will be pretty nice. So, see you in the next video, starting the character.